Hey guys, so I have an NPE case for you today, and my goodness, it was a very difficult case. It was a thorn in my rear, but we got somewhere. I don't know how we did it. It was hard. You know that little TikTok thing? I don't know how we did it, but it was hard. That's how I was feeling. That is the energy for this case. So welcome back to Client Stories with Amy. Our client was born in 1953 in North Carolina. Here's what she said to us. So first off, she found us from watching us on Roots Tech, one of our recorded presentations that we did on the 25th anniversary of genetic genealogy with Diane Southard. She watched us on that panel and she loved what she was hearing about us, and so she decided to find us and try to become a client. This is what she says. I'm searching for my father. I am 71 years old and my mother died tragically in a car accident when I was 6 years old back in 1959. I was raised by her parents. I believe that my brother's father was my father until I discovered as an adult that he was not my biological father. And then this was a duo. This was her and her daughter trying to figure out who her biological father was. Like, they've spent a lot of time trying to figure this out, going down all kinds of rabbit holes, as one will do, and then they finally said, okay, we can't figure this out, we need some help. So that's how we came into the picture. Now, this is a case from North Carolina. We know how hard they can be, and this is an African-American case, which adds another level of difficulty to this when we're going back so many generations back. And the fact that we have NPE after NPE after NPE back to back to back. Like, there's 3 different lines of NPEs. We have our client who's an NPE. She's gonna be more than 3. Our client's an NPE. The biological father who I'm searching for is an NPE. I'm looking at this tree just so that way I can verify here. So we've got 2 generations of NPE back to back. The paternal lines, the birth father's mother is also an NPE, and then the grandmother is an NPE. So we have our client, the biological father, the paternal grandmother, and the paternal great grandmother. All of them are NPEs back to back to back, and I can prove this because of the way the DNA is following, what the records are showing, how things are listed. The great grandmother, even on her birth certificate, on the birth father, is I don't know. And then her daughter, on her marriage certificate, it says birth father. I don't know. That's literally what it says. So it added a huge level of difficulty with this case. I have a suspicion. Oh, and then the other level here is we're really close to our client. We had 2 brothers on one family married to sisters on another family. We have DNA matches, so they're inflated. They're inflated. So I had to sort through all of that too. So my news for her is purely speculation because of that NPE issue and all of that going on back to back to back to back. So we can't say definitively, yeah, you have DNA to all of these lines, they're all documented, like, this is pretty, here's your little bow, here's the name. We can't do that in this case. We have to have somebody, a descendant from this line that I suspect, to DNA test to say, yes, this is your birth father. All I can say is I believe he could be because all the puzzle pieces here, but it's not an open and shut case, which is so frustrating. You got so many hours into this case. You've worked so hard. You know this lady is 71 years old and she has waited her whole life to figure out who this person is, and I can't give her that name. It is frustrating for me. It just makes me so sad that I can't give that to her. But I can only do what I can do. I can only do with what the DNA is showing me, and I can only follow that DNA plus those paper records, which aren't great to begin with. We know that she's African American, and so at a certain point, her whole history has been stolen from her, and so I can't go back even further to be able to prove more because their identities have been stolen. Their families have been stolen from them. So I'm limited on what I can do, and it's frustrating. So I gave her the name of who I suspect. She's got some contact information, and now we just wait and pray and hope and fingers crossed and 4-leaf clovers and all of the things, and hope somebody will DNA test to either confirm it or we're back to the drawing board. But that's it for today, guys. Love you guys. See you tomorrow.